Absolutely massive autonomous driving news today, and this is really playing in the favor of two companies that I've been covering heavily here on asymmetric investing, two companies that I own in the asymmetric portfolio. So everything is moving in the right direction for them, and they are still extremely undervalued if they become leaders like they think they can be in autonomy. That's what I'm going to dig through today. My name is Travis William. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content, and thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. Let's get to the news of the day and the two companies involved. This is an article from TechCrunch. This is moving the market in a pretty big way. Lyft is the one that is called out here as getting into autonomy. That's not something new. We've been covering this for Lyft for quite a while now, but that stock's up 4.6%. The big mover is Mobileye. That stock is up 17.5%. Interestingly enough, year to date, it's actually down. You go back a year, it's down 32%, but a big recovery over the past few months. And here's the reason why. Ride-hailing giant Lyft plans to bring fully autonomous Robotaxis powered by Mobileye to its app as soon as 2026 in Dallas. More markets are going to follow. So what in the world does this mean? This is Mobileye's drive assist system. And if we go down here, they have a number of different products on the market. Mobileye Driver Assist, or ADAS, is basically the industry standard for things like smart following, smart cruise control, lane assist. There's just one camera and one chip involved here. So actually a pretty low cost system, something that you may have in your vehicle today. Now, cloud enhanced ADAS that includes basically mapping, where they can kind of predict what you're going to see. Their newest product is going to be Mobileye Surround ADAS. This is going to add radars to the mix, basically just a little bit more advanced driver assist system. Then you get to supervision. That is 360 cameras, so basically kind of a Tesla-like system. Chauffeur is where you start to go eyes off, hands off. So you don't have to pay attention, but it is going to give you a warning, like 10 to 15 second warning before you need to actually take control of the vehicle. But you do need to have a driver in the vehicle. This is something that they are already starting to work on putting into vehicles for 2026, 2027 launch. Not high volumes, but things like Audi is going to be able to launch this just in the next year or two. This is really the solution that we're talking about here with Lyft. Mobileye has a partnership with Lyft to basically build vehicles to be Lyft ready for ride sharing. These are the kind of vehicles that we're talking about. The Volkswagen ID Buzz, if you have seen that vehicle or been in that vehicle, phenomenal vehicle for ride sharing, can fit 6 people comfortably. You have 360 video cameras, imaging LiDAR is what they're calling it. That's basically the second layer of safety. So you have redundant systems. And this is going to be a fully autonomous vehicle, no driver, and that would be level 4 autonomy. So you would say this is going to be available in the Dallas area. That's where they're talking about launching this. So if you're interested in Mobileye, and this is a company that I do own, this is kind of the path forward. This is where we are today. Supervision 62 is what they're calling it. That will be available basically next year's models. And then Chauffeur and Drive is really what they call the Revolution. So level 5 at scale. Tesla currently right about here. What makes Mobileye so compelling in this business model is that they have the right business model for the environment. So if every one of these automakers wants to have a level 4 or level 5 autonomous driving solution, what are they going to do? They have to license some sort of technology from somebody because not everybody's going to develop their own autonomous driving systems. One, they have proven they can't actually do that. Two, that doesn't actually make any sense. It doesn't make sense for 15 different autonomous driving solutions to be created. It makes more sense for one to be created and just license it to everybody. Mobileye is on the path to do that. This is some of their partners for supervision, chauffeur, and drive. This is the one that I'm going to be paying attention to here is Volkswagen because it's the one that's actually being tested in Austin, Texas today. A Volkswagen vehicle like the one you see here is on the roads today testing full autonomy. So that's the kind of product that we're going to see in the market. And potentially, if this is going to be a ride sharing business, it's not going to be Volkswagen building that ride sharing business. It's going to be a company like Lyft. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So why is this such a big deal for Mobileye and Lyft? First of all, I think what we're seeing in autonomy is autonomy itself is becoming commoditized. There's going to be a number of different players who are going to be able to develop fully autonomous solutions, whether that's level 3, level 4, or level 5. When that happens, when multiple players are in the market, then you have to look at who has the right business model for that moment in time. The right business model is I'm going to develop autonomy and I'm going to sell it to 24 different automakers. Think of this like a software company. If you're making a PC or a handset, you're not going to develop every single piece of software for that device. You're going to want to have developers who are specialized in that. The PC operating system may be the best example of this. So automakers, really good at making vehicles, not so good at making fully autonomous driving software. That's the first point for Mobileye. For Lyft, it's a little bit different. This is a company that has a ride sharing business. Yes, they are the second place to Uber, and they're a little over 1/10 the size. Over the past 12 months, $5.5 billion worth of revenue for Lyft, and Uber is at about $44 billion worth of revenue. But autonomy potentially changes the game for Lyft. The reason that Uber has a much bigger business and a huge advantage in the market that is kind of insurmountable for Lyft is because they're able to control supply. They have the most demand. That demand sucks supply from the market in something like ride sharing. Now, it's not a one-to-one. It's not going to shut off competition like you would have in some other network effect or two-sided markets where it's just impossible to shift. A driver can shift from Uber to Lyft. But this is ultimately what ends up being important for Lyft from an upside perspective with autonomy. If autonomy comes into the picture, and let's say Volkswagen is their partner, and they say, you know what, we're going to launch 1,000 vehicles in 10 different cities, or maybe 10,000 vehicles in 10 different cities. And Lyft is going to be the ride sharing network that they're going to use. They're going to have plenty of supply. That is going to suck more demand into the business. So you potentially change that supply demand dynamic with autonomy in a way that you simply can't when you have humans involved who are making individual decisions about which ride sharing network is the best one for me to work for today. Uber has the most riders, so that's where I'm going to be able to make the most money. And it doesn't make sense to go to Lyft today. That's the decision that most drivers are making. Autonomy just potentially flips that on its head. So keep an eye on that. That's why these two companies in particular are so important. Now, to be clear, I own shares of both Lyft and Uber. So I think that there's a place for both of these companies. Obviously, Uber's much more scale today. They're going to figure out autonomy, but it may be a more difficult path from here to there because they have that much bigger driver base. So how are you able to get to under $1 per mile when currently your drivers are making over $1 per mile? It's just not an easy path from here to where the company envisions itself being 5 or 10 years from now. But that said, I think that both of these companies will be potential winners. Now, from a valuation perspective, Lyft is pretty compelling. Just to put some numbers behind this, Lyft trades for 1x sales. Uber, on the other hand, trades for 3.7x sales. So if you look at where is the asymmetric upside is Lyft has both the potential to grow more just because it's simply smaller today, and they have potential for multiple expansion. So that could be a tailwind behind Lyft. But I do own shares of Mobileye, Lyft, and Uber. I think they are all going to be phenomenal players in the future of autonomy. If they are able to launch a ride-sharing system in Dallas in 2026, even in 2027, that will show that there are more players in the market than a lot of investors think today. Yes, we have Waymo in the market. Tesla says they're going to be there. I don't think they're anywhere near launching in 2025, potentially even in 2026. And if you get a company like Mobileye and Lyft into the market, you could bring thousands and thousands of vehicles. Because remember, Mobileye is working with huge automakers today. Volkswagen, who is the biggest automaker, makes 9 million vehicles around the world. That's about 10 times the number of vehicles that Tesla sells. So just putting that into perspective, and that's not including any other future partnerships that Mobileye will announce. So I think this is bigger news than you might think. I don't think it's too late to buy these companies because I think the runway for Lyft and Mobileye in particular could be decades. Let me know what you think about the future of autonomy in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.